telling that we are going to discuss uh, the factor of safety. We are going to design the support based on the factor of safety, and this factor of safety of these pillars are being defined by two parameters. One is the strength of the pillars, and another is the stress of the pillar. So we are going to discuss about what are the parameters on which this strength of pillar is dependent upon, or the stress of on the pillar is dependent on, so that you can control this factor of safety by either increasing the strength or by decreasing the stresses. So if you can increase the strength, then also your FOS will increase. Or if you can decrease the stresses on pillar, then also your factor of safety will increase. So, if we can know all the parameters which is affecting this factor of safety, especially for the strength property as well as the stress property, so we will be able to design such type of pillar below the surface, and we will know what are the basics on which this design is being dependent upon. So we can define the factor of safety by strength of the pillar and by the strength of the pillar, stress on the of on pillar. So SP by sigma P. Okay. Now, if you can see one of the pillar here, and you can see the coal seam is very flat in nature. Coal seam is very flat in nature, and there we have to check whether these pillars are stable or not. Which pillar is stable or not, right? So these are the arrays of pillar. This is a three-dimensional structure. Even if we have some sort of a larger excavation or the combination of these two, how their performance is being dependent upon. Okay, so in this figure you will see the overlying rock. Then there is a coal pillar with arrays of opening. The four openings are being shown here. Having high width is 4 meter and height is equal to this coal seam height, that is 3 meter, and there is a spacing between these two openings, or maybe the length of the window is also given there. So these are the parameter, basic parameter or the fundamental parameter which is needed to evaluate the pillar strength or the pillar stress. Now, if you can go back to your one class that is called the stresses around opening. So, what conclusion we have drawn? I think you have drawn, huh? You have drawn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, what this figure is telling you, I am trying to show you three figures here. What is the difference between these three figures? Yeah.
Sir,
What is
the influence area is there of like two pillars that are near.
Yeah, there are five pillars are there and four openings are being shown, and this level of opening is being shown by the length. By you can see the level of stresses which is developing on the y-axis is shown by a vertical stress. Okay, because in this case the vertical stress is very high comparison to any software type of software related yeah, software related aspects of yeah. So you can see there are three different lines are there. One line is horizontal, and there is a small dotted line is there, and then there is a form line. So you'll see, and on top of this figure, you'll see there are three type of analysis are being there through which these stresses have been drawn. One is called the tributary method, and second is elastic method, and the fourth is the elastoplastic condition. So these three classes of stress determination are compared, and it is found that these stresses on these pillars by tributary method is very high, except very closer to the opening. The stress is decreasing very slightly. Okay, and also in the middle of the pillar also, you will see the stress is very less comparison to the corner of the pillar, right? Why this is happening? Anybody? Why this is happening on the corner of the pillar or very close to the opening? The stress is high, and as we are going away, the stress is not very. The stress is also you have to. Stress is not very high at all. So why this is?
Sir, induced stresses are generated.
Induced stresses are there. What is this induced stress?
Sir, the stresses that are generated due to the changes we do in that in situ condition.
Yeah. So these stresses are generated as we have seen in the figure I have drawn. Share and care. Na? These rocks are very natural material is very sharing and caring. So when I am removing any of the material below the surface, immediately boss or the immediate labor of that bearing plane is going to start taking this load. And once this taking this load will increase, the uh, the oh my God, battery is getting dry. Okay. So induced stress. So what is happening to this first method, tributary area method? Is there any induced stress? In tributary area method, a straight line is telling what? What this straight line is telling you?
Sir, you are not audible.
Stress line is
Excuse me.
Sir, disturbance is there.
Hello.
A straight line is telling you what? A straight line is telling you that the stress is same all across the width of the pillar. Am I right? It is not changing at all. It is not changing at all with the across the length of the pillar or across the width of the
Excuse
pillar.
me,
It
sir.
is all along. It is same. It is not changing at all. Whereas for the other two methods, it is
Hello.
telling that the stress is very high near to the opening, and as we are going away, it is decreasing. Okay. Similarly, if you are looking at the middle of the pillar, the stress is high at the corner. It is decreasing in the middle of the pillar. Then it is also again increasing like that. Okay, so can anybody tell me what is the difference between the elastic analysis and the elastoplastic analysis in this figure? What do you mean by elastic analysis and the elastoplastic analysis?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what does this thick line and dash line representing?
The client just mentioned the level. It is already labeled. You can see on top of this figure: tributary method, elastic analysis, elastic plastic analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir,
It is a
sir, if we are
method in green. It is representing. I'm just listening. It is a method by which we are finding the stresses on the pillar. Three methods. I'm trying to compare the methods of stress measurement. Okay, so one is the tributary method, Second is your or the elastic analysis, and the third is the elastoplastic analysis. We have compared three methods here, and for a given condition, we have drawn this stress plot. Okay, so can you give me a comparison? One question I had asked you that what is the difference between the elastic analysis and the elastoplastic analysis?
Sir, in elastic, we are considering force is proportional to deformation, and in elastoplastic,
Yeah,
it is
very
not
good.
not directly proportional. Like
Hmm.
the constant is also function of deformation.
Hmm.
So some plastic region
Yeah,
will be
very
there.
good.
It will not be
Yeah.
linear.
Yeah. So what is the difference in this figure? That is true. Your both the answers are true. What is the difference between these two figures? What is the difference? Anybody? Anybody?
So the material is elastic and
No. Look at this figure and tell me what is the difference.
No idea, sir.
No idea. Now you look at line. You can just compare the line, form line, and the small dotted line. The small dotted line, you see, it is more or less it is much straighter than the form line, right?
Yes.
The form line is little slant, no? It is little inclined,
Yes, sir.
whereas the dotted line is vertical more or less. More or less, theoretically, perfectly vertical, but the form line is little inclined, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
that is the difference. Yeah, that is the difference, no?
Sir, but why they are little more inclined that is directly straight?
Yeah, you have given me the answer. No? You have given me the answer, and your answer was that because in elastic analysis we are talking about the elasticity. No, stress is proportional to strain. Okay, so they are linearly related. No deformation is happening. Okay, so what will happen if no deformation is happening? So the stress, if so the stress will can go up to infinite stress also, no? So, but in case of plasticity, what will happen if the stress will increase? It will going to deform or break the material also. So during this process, the stress will decrease, and it will increase the stresses inside the rock mass, which is far away from the excavation. So that's why you'll see that the first one is showing you the proportionality. Proportionality is there between stress and the deformation. So stress is very high, but in place of a form line, there is a deformation on the opening. So the stress concentration is little more shifted for the intact material than the for your intact material. okay, than the rock mass. So for the intact material, your the thickness is very high. The stress is very high at the corner of the excavation. But whereas in case of plastic analysis, and because the formation is happening, so because of that, the stress below very close to the corner of the excavation has decreased, and decreases results into the increase in the stresses. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is related with the elastic and the plastic analysis. So I want to say that even though these are the very popular method nowadays, we are doing all this in the computer itself. We can simulate the conditions and we can see that how this can be done. But okay, so that is the thing. Now I had asked you a very cross, means I had started from okay. So I think now I have come to this photograph. This photograph I have drawn just now, just earlier in paint. That if you have a excavation area, my cursor is visible to you. Hmm? So we have the pillars. You can see this farm line is showing you the pillars having width WP. So there are nine pillars are there in an area, and there is a size width of the galleries are there WG. So once I am creating such type of opening, and if I just look into this section, what will happen? The load which has been created by the width of the material which is on top of the surface, and the weight of the material which is lying on the right side of the weight of the, so this 50% of the load will be added to the pillar within the mine. Okay, so we can draw a very good graph between SP and SV, and they are related with some mathematical relationship that is called that is called SP is equal to 1 nu by 1 minus nu. I think somewhere it is might be written. So we can write the pillar stresses like this. Sigma P is equal to gamma H W plus WP. Can anybody tell me how we can find out the stress on the pillar? Yeah. Anybody?
Sir, using flat jack technique.
Yeah. Okay. So in this figure, if you'll see that this weight, in this figure, if you'll see the weight which is coming on this pillar is the weight of the overlying material. So this overlying material weight is very simple. So weight is your WP plus WG, the whole square, uh, divided by I think 6 5. Can anybody tell me how we can find out the stress on the pillar by looking at this expression? Can anybody tell me how we can find out the stress on the pillar? And that method is known as the tributary method.
Sir, weight of overlying material upon area.
No. Anybody else? Okay, just think about that. These are some of the cases of a barrier pillar. Okay, it is being created to have. Do you know the panels in the wooden pillar method of mine? Panels. Okay. So have you heard about this barrier pillar?
No, sir.
Okay. So have you heard about the what is called ring pillar?
No, sir.
Okay, we will discuss later on. What is this? This figure? Have you seen a similar figure in this pattern? What is this figure?
So showing the pillars in.
What is this?
Sir, showing the pillars in board and pillar mining.
What is the purpose of this extraction? Have you heard about this pillar extraction?
No, sir.
So what you have learned in DMD so far? Have you gone through this process of excavation in how actually we are removing the pillars?
No, sir. Sir, he told till like rays and shafts and all that till now.
Okay. Now, okay, I will come back to this again. Okay, I will cover up this so that we can make up these two aspects. So for this, I have to use my screen. So let us leave it for today. Friday, I will cover it. Okay, so I will get to introduce you with this. Okay, so there are two aspects of design. Okay, so I will cover up in next class using my screen by drawing some photographs. Okay, so there are two design principle. One is called the ultimate strength design, and another is called the progressive failure design. So ultimate strength design and the progressive failure design, you just remember. What is the ultimate strength? We are considering that there are only one strength of the pillar. Okay, only one strength means key means we can find out only one strength. There will be one strength only for a particular, only one strength. Whereas a progressive failure theory is telling that no, the pillars are not failing in a one go, it is failing in a sequential manner. Okay. How it is failing in a sequential manner? For example, the stress plots which we have seen, these stress plot, because in reality, the stress developed on a pillar is based on elastic plastic analysis. The rock is very non-linear in nature, anisotropic and all that. So they are naturally the behavior or the stress which is developing on these pillars will be elastoplastic in nature. So as the stress developed on this pillar is like elastoplastic, so what will happen? The stress will be maximum at the corner of the pillar or near to the corner of the pillar, and they are going to first fail. These are the area along this pillar is going to fail first, followed by the remaining part of the pillar. Okay, so that's why it is telling that it is a progressive failure theory rather than a ultimate theory. Ultimate theory is telling that entire pillar is taking the same type of strength, and it is just based on the Stavo-Triere method. So one strength will be there for a particular one pillar. So as soon as that stress will apply, entire pillar will fail because along across all the pillar length and width, the stress is same. So failure will be simultaneous in nature. Whereas in case of this elastoplastic analysis, the failure will be progressive in nature. So based on that, these two theory has been given for this pillar failure or the pillar design, ultimate pillar theory and the progressive failure theory. So in this class, third semester class, we are going to confine ourselves with your ultimate failure theory, and we will try to get to know how we can use this and how this can be can be measured. Okay. So first of all, if you can, as I told you, there are two methods to find out. There are two ways to find out the factor of safety or increase or decrease the factor of safety. One is called the strength, and another is called the stress. Okay. So if you will study, because these pillar these pillar strength formulas were first attempted by people in the year 1895 or 93, long back. And after that, still people are trying to work on this on okay, still people are trying to develop some relationships. So if we compare the formula which has been developed so far, so there are nature. The nature is found to be of two formulas are there. The nature is like this. One is representing a straight line, where SP, strength of the pillar, is equal to S1 or SL multiplied by A plus B WP by H. This is the form of the equation of the strength of the pillar. One is this. Another is strength of the pillar is equal to K times WP to the power A and H to the power B. So these are the two form of equations which have been developed. If you can classify the different formulas around the world, and you can group them into these two forms. Okay, so this linear form and also linear, which is passing through the origin, And this is also a linear equation, but it is not passing through the origin. It has got some intercept on the y-axis. But you can see that if you can compare these two equations. And in the first equation, you can see that one of the parameter is not width of the pillar, but parameter is W, width of the pillar divided by height of the pillar. Okay. So this is a very interesting parameter that people have developed, and it is saying that the strength is a dependent on W by H ratio, width of the pillar by height of the pillar ratio. So that is the one aspect. And there is a multiplying constant that also is being written in terms of S1. So this value has come from a concept that the S1 represents the strength of almost 1 feet cube of a whole block or the rock block. Okay. So S1 is representing the strength of 1 meter cube whole of the rock block. Similarly, this here also in the second equations, it is also more or less representing the same ratio, W by H ratio, but there is some sort of a superscript is there, or some power is there, W to the power A and H to the power B, but more or less it is representing. So both the approaches
Sir, your
are
voice
advocating
is
that.
not clear. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, your voice is not.
Okay. So is it okay now?
Oh, sir.
Is it okay? It is better?
Sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Yeah, it is better. So we are finding that the strength of the pillar is dependent on one of the parameter, that is a ratio W by H. One ratio is W by H on which the strength of the pillar is dependent. So as your width of the pillar is more and more, the strength of the pillar will be more. Okay, so that is what. So or maybe W by H ratio is the parameter. Finally, yeah, parameter is the W by H ratio. Okay, so this is based on the more than 100 years old work created by various researchers across the world, and this classification has been carried out. So there are two aspects are there. This strength formula is called the size effect. Another is called the shape effect. So W by H ratio is known as shape effect. It is representing the shape of a cube. Whether it is a cubic shape or a cuboidal shape. If your W by H ratio is 1, it is representing cubic shape. But if W is increasing or H is increasing, you want
Sir, your voice is breaking.
so is oh, okay.
Yes, sir, your voice is not coming clearly.
Okay. So this one, the W by H. So this formula represents the two aspects of this pillar. One is called the shape aspect. Another is called the size aspect. So S1, this SL, the first subscript or this multiplying factor S1 is representing the size effect of the pillar, and this W by H ratio is representing the shape of the pillar. So if W by H is 1, it represents a cubic shape, right? Cubic shape. When W and H are both are same, so represents that the size of your pillar is cubic. But as this ratio is changing, it becomes a cuboidal shape. So people have studied this aspect by changing the size of the pillar as well as the shape of the pillar also, and they have noticed a very strange behavior. And just I will try to discuss from here. So in this figure you will see I can draw a figure. I can draw the different cubic size of sample. Maybe something less
So your
than
voice is
0.1.
not clear.
My voice is not clear.
So we are not able
Sir,
to
it
Is it
is
okay
listen
now?
properly.
It's breaking. So is it okay now? It is better.
Yes, sir.
It is better.
Yes, sir. Now it's
Now you look at this figure, this plot. So y-axis is representing the UCS of cubic sample. Okay,
so
people
again
what
it
we
is
did
breaking.
this.
It is happening same as it
Okay,
was happening before.
so it is like some network issue there. Okay, so okay, you please tell me what is this figure telling you. Uh, okay, because the voice is breaking, so let me listen from you. Can you understand what this figure is representing you or wants to tell you? What does it mean?
So we cannot see the figure.
Just I'm not understanding what are you saying.
Figure is not clear? Oh, it is
Sir,
not
we are
clear.
seeing ultimate design approach. We are seeing.
Figure is visible now in situ strength of coal.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, so there is some network issue, and that's why I'm not able to communicate properly. There is some network issue. Okay, is it still same?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I think we'll leave it for Friday 2 o'clock. Okay, and I hope the network will be better on that day. If any questions are there, let me know.
So can you repeat like half only we could listen?
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Can you see my slide?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, presentation slide is visible to you?
No, sir.
No. Okay, then leave it for today. We will meet again on Friday, 2 o'clock. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it is better to leave it today if it is not. Okay. So by that time you can read all these topics from the my book Pillar Design. Okay. So if anything is there, we will cover fast on Friday.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye.